A couple of months ago, I posted a video trying to turn $20 into 20,000 by trading meme coins. It was always going to be a long-term plan, but I wanted to show that building balances with small portfolios can be done and exactly how to do it. And after episode 1, we ended with 0.46 SOL after starting with 0.1. Chapter 2. This is where the fun begins, and you won't believe what happens in this episode. The night started by forgetting I was even doing a challenge, which is great. With 1 SOL in my account, I tried to front-run Donald Trump's crypto press conference, hoping that he'd talk about the National Digital Asset Stockpile. He didn't, and I did sell for a 2x, which wasn't bad. But then, in typical memecoin fashion, I lost most of it and was down to around 0.5 SOL. Then I remembered a comment. This fella telling me that I'm a bad trader and a great storyteller. To this I say, how about this for a story, and call me Cody Rhodes, because I'm gonna finish it. It was time to lock in and do the challenge once again, showing you how to grow a 0.5 SOL portfolio up to that next level. And the first thing I noticed was a ton of wallet tracker pings on Calico coin. I still don't know exactly what it is, but whenever there's a runner that is in the millions, it's always worth scanning for an OG version before buying on top of the 3,000 people ready to dump on you. And as luck would have it, I found one. Now what you're about to see is a work of art. It's not normal, it could be triggering, and it's not recommended, but it was necessary. So without further ado, I call this life on the farm. Let me explain. I initially bought into the OG Calico coin and got spooked out of my position. The liquidity was so low that it was swinging like a ship at a fair ride, and the only thing lower than that liquidity was my testosterone when a Chapel Roan song plays. So I waited for the price to settle after selling. As the new coins soared to new heights, this bollocks insisted on going from 30k to 40k and right back down. Confident that someone would eventually CTO it, I kept trying to find a position at the floor, riding the green candles and selling as soon as there was a red one, because one big sell with a liquidity pool that thin and my night was over. Fortunately, or unfortunately, this continued to happen non-stop for about an hour, all while I became what I hate. Sat in a Telegram begging for someone to start a CTO or at least take notice of it. But the more time passed, the more it became obvious. The liquidity was so low that it was just being played with by the same group. They'd pump it up to about 50k, sell it back down, wait a few minutes and do it again. So what I decided to do was beat them at their own game and score one for the little guy by getting in as soon as they sold and selling before they even thought to. Approximately 384 transactions later, I ended up making around 2 SOL, around a 4x just by genuinely trying to time the floor. I wasn't even trying to farm, I just wanted to get the floor before a CTO, and with liquidity so low I just didn't trust any of it. But there are lessons to take from this. The more time you spend looking at a coin, the better you can gauge a safe entry. Okay, so you might miss a 10x watching it soar, but you don't have to swing at every ball. Be patient, DCA in, and if you know there are risks, like the low liquidity or significant top holders, assess them over time and strategize accordingly. I'm far from someone who buys and sells within 10 seconds, but I had to survive on this coin. If I had any chance of waiting out the farm while maintaining a good entry, should a CTO take place. It didn't, but if I'd have just held the whole time, I'd have lost money, not made a 4x. The Cabal coin that launched though, that did a 10x. Hindsight is 2020, but I'm happy knowing I won the battle that I was comfortable fighting rather than a war that I wasn't. My next grand idea, another absolutely terrible one. I heard about an AI launch. Yep, I know. Called Curve. Now again, didn't know what it was, but it was coming within the hour, so I decided to try and find coins launched with a big dev wallet still holding where the price had dropped significantly. These felt safer than most of the other LARPs going out on the market, because if a coin is pumped and dumped but the dev is still holding, there's a reason for that. So I aped what I felt comfortable and did the same thing as before when I was uncertain. Things started out well. I made 0.3 off of one launch that bonded and then giganuked back down, costing me a 3x by the time I could sell, and another 0.15 doing the same thing, bringing my portfolio to around 2.6 SOL. But knowing I was playing with fire, it was only a matter of time before Icarus would fly too close to the sun. After a couple of minor bumps and bruises, I took an 87% loss on a 0.5 buy of a LARP of this damn coin and would spend the next hour trying to find the proper token. Turns out, the one I made 13% on was the proper token, and that ran to 1 million. Lovely. The portfolio was down to around 1.8 Sol, which is roughly where I started from after the Endas saga, but still a damn sight higher than the 0.5 where I began episode 2 of this challenge. The time was 5 AM, my eyes were heavy, and I knew that I couldn't trench much longer, so I made the decision to have a nap and go again tomorrow. My next real big play was super, and this was super simple. Get it? I got a ping, I watched the coin, and it dumped from around 18k to 8. And I saw one buy after the dump, signifying it might have life, so I bought in with 1 Sol, and within seconds, it shot up to around 20k. So I took that profit and ran a mile, pulling out a 1.5x in a matter of seconds. My port was now around 3.2 Sol. Now granted, this rarely ever happens, but because of that, I wasn't going to let this money slip away. And the final trade of this challenge was some lore about BTC. Not Bitcoin, that would be too obvious. But this was deployed by a Solana dev in an actual YouTube video they published 8 months ago, and it had no buys yet, surprisingly. Now, I missed the entire 8x run of this coin, but it dumped so sharply that I put in 1 Sol at the bottom, and lo and behold, it shot up 30% or so in the next 5 minutes, bringing my portfolio to 3.5. And then just to top it off, I got a ping on something called Vendetta, where again, it dumped but the dev had held, so I got in and it shot up, bonded to Ray, and it would have given me about a 5x, but it dumped, of course. So I took out 137%, 0.7 on the night, bringing me to a final total of around 4.2 Sol. So nearly a 10x of my account in the space of 24 hours. And it wasn't on one coin where I hit the lottery. It wasn't through trading like a coked up Wall Street degen. It was a little bit of everything. There were some losses along the way, certainly some losses after it. Like FIBA, where I consistently saw a wallet buying, I followed the buys, and the coin naturally died, so I lost about 0.6 there. But the fact is, there are multiple ways to skin a cat when buying meme coins. And if you can learn about the coins you're buying, the risk factors involved with each individual one, just as you would with a stock, you've got a much better chance of making profit. I'm not a KOL, I don't use my followers for exit liquidity, I just like to trench. And this was, I think, a perfect response to a comment saying I'm not a good trader. 10x overnight over multiple transactions from a tiny balance. Job well done. If you enjoyed this video, guys, again, I would love it if you could subscribe to the channel and join our family. We are so close to 30,000 subscriber market cap, and we need your help in getting off of YouTube PumpFun and onto YouTube Radium. And if you did enjoy this video, then make sure you take a look at my last video, where I go over the total opposite of this, the brutal reality of trading meme coins on PumpFun, showing you some of the worst financial decisions I've ever made and trades that I will regret for a very long time. But until next time, I'll see you in the trenches.